Hi Sagittarius, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Thanks for hopping into my little den here. We're keeping it warm, we're keeping it cozy. Today, this reading is for the new moon in Pisces coming up in March 10th. Any sounds in the background, you might see his head poke up a little bit here and there, but Milo, my corgi, is sitting right here. He just had surgery, so this is his little hospitalization corner, and he just had his food, his water, and he had a very tasty bone that is surprisingly already gone. If you know anything about corgis, they're voracious eaters. So, he might be making some sounds and shoving his nose up my elbow for attention here and there. And I also have my partner smacking around in the kitchen a little bit, making myself some chicken wings, which I'm very excited about. Chicken wings and pizza. So I have quite the dinner to look forward to. I hope you're doing well as well. I am going to jump into this channel here and kind of see what's going on. For all of my new moon and full moon readings, what's going to happen is that I tune into the energy pertaining to you around that time. So new moon, around the energy that's more prominent within that 3-day time span of that new moon and full moon, and then the reading extends, that energy plays out for the next 2 weeks. So that's the general time frame that I look at when I do new moon and full moon readings. That being said, let me call in my angels, ancestors, my guides, and I encourage you to do the same while I pull your cards. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for casting a light of protection around me at this time, and thank you to the archangels, my spirit team, my spirit guides for helping me channel for Sagittarius, whether they be sun, moon, rising, or if they just happen to be coming along and wanting to have a taste of the Sagittarius energy, to see what resonates with them. Make sure you're standing in your power. Make sure you're listening to your truth. That way you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And here we go. Thank you for helping me channel healing energy for the highest good of all. Bless you. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take that. Thank you, sir. Okay. So, you have Jupiter, Cancer in the 8th house. So before we get into your Celtic cross, I feel the need to draw attention to your astrology dice at first, because that's the main energy that we're dealing with. So, Jupiter is the energy of expansion. Cancer is honing in on your deepest feelings, your sensitivities, and your hurts. The 8th house talks about taboo, the spiritual, things that people don't typically want to talk about. The 8th house is the occult house. It is death, sex, transformation. So you're expanding a lot on probably, for some of you, this can be working through fears of a past trauma, so connecting with your deep sensitivities and hurts in relation to that. For others, it is connecting with yourself more on a spiritual level, because you're expanding in that sense. So whatever this is, you're healing, you're expanding, you're growing, you're reaching like a deeper understanding of your spiritual path, a deeper understanding of yourself and the energies at play around you. Your main card here is justice for your situation. So being fair, for some of you, this is a study of a law of attraction. So this is understanding that the energy that you put in is the energy that you're getting out of things, and you are actively learning that. And it's interesting because Sagittarius is the sign of learning. So regardless of how you have Sagittarius placed in your chart, this is like an energy of they learn. It's their philosophy. They grow. And it's just like that, like the sign of higher learning. They rule the 9th house. So when the 8th house comes along, it is a more spiritual endeavor, and I can't help but feel like you're expanding in that sense. And justice is about learning that, and it's also like the exchange of energy and making sure that, again, the energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. Again, it's like that manifestation thing, like how can I manifest things? How can I serve the greater good with this manifestation? How can I serve myself with this? So the challenge here that you have is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is, for some of you, it's figuring out where to start. For some of you, it's where do I put my energy? Where do I start? The Knight of Pentacles is about taking, like, spreading the seeds and planting and watching them grow. And for some of you, when that's a challenge, it's like, I'm not sure if I'm in the right area for that. I'm not sure if I'm in the right location to plant these seeds. I'm not sure if like the time is right type of deal. It just feels like certain conditions aren't being met in your life and you're like, it has to be this way in order for me to continue on with this. Spirit says not necessarily so. They're kind of, I actually see someone shrugging going, I mean, the situation's not ideal. But they want you to start thinking about it, and they want you to actually start moving towards whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to, like, just really now is a time to soak up the information and soak up be like the sponge, be a knowledge sponge and soak up things. That seems to be the energy that I'm picking up on right now. It might not be the time of action, but eventually they do want you to get moving on it. But learn all that you can right now, because your focus, your goal is expanding and gaining an understanding of this energy that you're working with right now. Coming up from within, you have the Queen of Pentacles, so nurturing that, allowing it to grow. What's coming up from within is wanting, I hear like understanding yourself on a deeper level. So the Queen of Pentacles, the Pentacles usually rules the material. It rules the physical, and it rules like the physical body, physical health. So some of you could actually be learning to get in tune with your bodies a little bit more and understanding how energy moves through you. For others, it is quite literally just understanding the body. So some of you could be into fitness or holistic nutrition, or just nutrition in general. Some of you could just be learning how your body works. For some of you, I'm hearing circadian rhythm. So specifically in terms of sleeping patterns, some of you could be studying sleep patterns just so you can understand what times of the day you're most productive, what times of the day you feel the need to take care of yourself a little bit more, what times of the day you're actually good for, you know, sleeping, relaxing, like so you can move your schedule around as you see fit. So specifically like a time of wake up too. So like the time that you're waking up is the challenge here. I know it's like coming up from within, it's not in the challenging position, but some of you, I'm actually seeing somebody who's like, they're waking up too late. That's the thing. I see somebody who's like sitting up in bed and the window like has, the curtains are open on the window and they look out and they see the sun is already high up in the sky and they're like, they're like, crap, like the sun is already up. And they're frustrated because they overslept or they wanted to wake up earlier. So, and maybe your whole day is thrown off because you know maybe you're somebody who is an early riser. You just need to reset your circadian rhythm to wake up earlier so that way you can get things set straight the way that you know your body needs it. So working on that, some of you, like that's like a little bit of a challenge, but I feel like it comes with an energy of excitement too. And in your past position, you have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is about assessing. So understanding where it is that you came from, where you're going, getting your facts straight. So really sorting out this energy. I just heard like you were getting to know the energies at play in your situation. So whatever situation you're questioning about, whatever's been on your mind or whatever is on your mind around this time, it's almost like you've done the assessment, you've done the work, because the main focus here is death, which is transformation. So it's stepping out of an old life or stepping out of an old way of being and entering a new one. It is being reborn again. It's a transitionary state. I love the death card because it's like, I feel like I'm constantly getting it myself. So constantly transforming, constantly making something new. And being a Sagittarius, again, anytime you enter the Sagittarius energy, whether it's in your big three, whether you're tuning into it in your astrological chart and you're trying to figure out how it affects you, anything in relation to Sagittarius, because you are constantly learning, growing, expanding, especially because Sagittarius rules Jupiter, which you also rolled in your astro dice, because you're expanding, of course you're going to be constantly transforming and changing, which the death card being the main focus, you are formulating this new energetic pathway that you're creating for yourself again through this like law of manifestation. Again, I just feel like you're soaking up knowledge, you're learning a lot at this time, and that's causing this transformation because you're seeing all of these different skill sets. So you're seeing all of this knowledge open up to you, and then you're like, oh snap, I can do that, or oh, that's a new way of living, that's a new way of being, I can follow that, or I can try this and that and the third. So for some of you, I do feel like it can be like a spiritual awakening, but not like the scary kind. We can have many spiritual awakenings in a lifetime. For some of us, there's like a dark night of the soul to go through. And for some of us, there's also just like I call them like an awakening can also seem like kind of like a spiritual up-leveling of sorts, like certain checkpoints in our life, I guess is what you could call it. But it does feel like there's like a step up, but it's like, there's hard work here, but it's not something that's based in an energy of fear or working through like a Scorpio energy. It does feel like you're connecting with those deep sensitivities and those hurts and you're transforming from them. But I feel like if it has been scary, then most of that work has been done already, or that at least at this point in time, the work that needs to be done at this moment in time has been done, and that's not really the focus at the moment. So that being said, in your near future, you have the High Priestess. So getting more in tune with your intuition. So because you are following these energetic pathways and you're opening up your knowledge base, it's almost like Spirit's using like, I'm going to bring up an example from mediumship, because Spirit uses symbols. A lot of times they use symbols, which is why like when you intuitively channel tarot, it does help when you're intuitively channeling to understand many meanings of the same card, so that way like you're open and receptive to what that particular card can stand for, what that particular card can mean, depending on what's around it, but also what's coming through in the channel. And this works the same thing in mediumship, where like if you decided to pursue the path of being a doctor, for example, when you have a lot of medical knowledge, if you all of a sudden have these psychic abilities later, you practice mediumship, because there are two different things, psychic and mediumship. But if you develop mediumship abilities, you might be able to, if you have a medical base, if you have medical knowledge, you can actually fall back on that. Spirit will use that, and you might actually be a lot better at picking up on people's medical ailments before they died, for example, because medical is a part of your toolkit now. And that's kind of like the parallel that Spirit's asking me to draw here, is that with the more you soak up and the more that you learn, especially in terms of your spiritual journey, you could be learning about reincarnation, mediumship, all the different clairs, that type of psychic awakening where you're like studying all of the psychic stuff, because again, the 8th house rules the occult. So like as you're transforming from your past traumas, you're transforming from your past past obstacles, you're realizing, kind of making connections. There's a lot of signs and synchronicities around, and you're like, okay, like I know this is all crazy, but I am studying the spiritual stuff, and it's almost like you're getting the hang of it, or you're able to understand a little bit more that life is more magical than you previously thought. And you're going to start encountering, like you're going to start developing more psychic abilities with that. So some of you could be studying those things. But either way, even if you're not studying those things and you're just soaking up the knowledge for whatever project you're doing, whatever journey you're on, just know that following that pathway is helping expand your toolkit so Spirit can communicate more with you. And it helps your soul sing a stronger song as to what you want to do. So the more you follow that intuition and the more you do the things that you feel called to do, the stronger it is, the stronger it feels towards that. And then you're able to channel through it. The 4 of Pentacles is about conserving your energy. It's about keeping things close. And for you in the situation, your energy being that 4 of Pentacles holding it. So it feels less on finances and more on energy. I do feel like this is a time of withdrawing to yourself so that you can soak up more of being a sponge. When I think of someone soaking up energy and soaking up things like a sponge, I actually this is the type of energy that I would see. Like this is how I would envision it, because they are keeping their resources close. And they're not going out, they're not spending their money in all these different places. They're not going out and doing 5 million and 3 different things, because they are focusing on just clinging to something and letting things come to them, letting more opportunities come to them. So I know typically this card is seen in like a negative light, and for some of you, you might be able to, or like it might be interpreted as, I don't know, I'm feeling like someone's clinging on to this idea too tightly. There's something that Spirit wants you to let go of a little bit, because you're like clinging too much to this one belief or this one viewpoint, and they kind of want you to expand it a little bit more. So for example, and this is just throwing it out there, but let's just say you grew up Christian and like that is your way of living, and that's fine. But maybe you felt the call to study other religions. And, you can still believe in Christianity, but also study other religions. But somebody who would embrace more of a 4 of Pentacles energy would be just sticking to their, even if they feel the call to study other religions, just so they know, just to expand their religious knowledge base, they might be like, no, I'm not studying anything else because it's a waste of my time. Keeping that too close and keeping to that viewpoint a little too close. You're not awful for studying other things. You're not awful for studying other religions, for example. So that's just an example, but might be prominent for some of you. But that feeling of sticking so close to your mindset or sticking so close to your view that you're unable to see what's on the outside. So for some of you, that's the message with that. And for others, it's honestly just sticking to where you are and then allowing that energy to come in as you are reading your books, as you are listening to podcasts, as you're watching videos, as you're trying to learn these skills. You're not really spending energy in other places. You're mainly just focused on taking things in, right? So in your environment, you have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is taking things at a leisurely rate, practicing self-care, maybe something that you haven't done before, but trying to set up your environment to where it caters to your needs instead of having it work opposite. So it's almost like moving things around in your environment to like make your space more your own feels like the energy of this. So I feel like that's the energy that you're riding on. If it's not something that you've been thinking about, maybe consider it, of taking a look at your space and noticing how your environment affects your energy. Because I see you moving, like quite literally moving things around. Like for me, I put plants in my space, and it helps me feel more alive. It makes me feel like I'm in the jungle, I'm in the tropics, and I just love the earth. So that helps my spirit come alive. For you, it might be plants. For you, it might also be something different. It might be skulls on the wall. It might be throwing like this bright ass shade of orange up on the walls. Like, I don't know. You do you, boo. But whatever the case may be, make your space your own and help it energize you. There's something about relaxing in your environment and making it feel more like your new self. It's almost like, everything around, like maybe, okay, so this reminds me of somebody who used to tell me, like, I'm tired of buying thrift store furniture. I want to save up for the couch that I want. And that's the type of energy I see you doing or you see you embracing, is that, you're no longer settling for certain things in your environment anymore. You might not be 100% where you want to be with it, but you're, like, making small changes to make yourself more at ease, to make yourself feel more at ease in that space. In your hopes and your fears, you have the Two of Wands. So the hopes and fears share the same spot in the tarot, because the things that we hope for the most are the things that we fear we're going to lose, or that we will never achieve, or that we won't get. So there often is that duality, two sides of the same coin. So I find it interesting that there's like a two here as well. The duality, the yin and the yang with it. So the Two of Wands typically inspires the planning stages of something and wanting to dream big, but it's almost like you're afraid of dreaming big because you're like, no, it's too big. You might think like, oh, nothing amazing has ever happened to me, or nothing grand or like amazing has happened. So how could these dreams even come true? And I think the important thing is understanding that, when you're on a path and you're putting forth a lot of effort, you might not have put forth like a lot towards something before. Maybe you've, like, for example, like, I used to feel this way until I realized all of my energy was put towards, a degree, which is, something that everybody, like, it's a dream, and for some people it's unattainable, and it felt very unattainable for me. It took me a decade to get it, and I finally got it. Woo! I don't know if you can see, it's like off to the corner. My degree is like off in this corner, so you probably can't see it, but I'm very excited that I have it. It took me a very long time to get it. For some people, that wasn't just a dream. It was like a very whatever thing. They worked hard to get it, or some people didn't have to work hard, and then, they got it in 4 years, and then they were done with it, and they were like, well, whatever. And then it just something that didn't affect them in any way. They were like, oh, well, it's part of my journey, and it's whatever. But, for me, it was a really big deal. And that's what I had to do to get there. Now, did I end up, accomplishing any huge dream? That was a big dream, but was there any like huge magical, like, oh, well, I want to be a really successful tarot reader, and like, oh, all of these things that are so hard to achieve seem so far away, because I haven't really put forth the work in it. But that was pretty amazing in itself. Out of all the obstacles that I faced, and I still managed to achieve that. So look at where you've been putting your energy and see, what have I actually been achieving in life? And what have I actually been working towards? Where have I been putting my energy? Because you might have been putting your energy towards things that, don't fill up your cup, which is fine, because we're all at that stage of our journey sometimes. So if you start putting your energy towards things that actually do fill you up and start putting them towards your dreams, what I just told the last group that I talked to, I think it was Leo, that the energy that you put in, again, is the energy that you get out. So you just have to keep trying, and I don't think there's ever such thing as failure. Failure is when you give up completely, because then, like, you don't have a chance at all. But simply just letting opportunities manifest just from your hard work. Because sometimes when you're presented with an opportunity, we get really upset if it doesn't work out because we're like, oh my gosh, I put in all this effort. Why is this opportunity not working out? Well, because your frustration is telling you what you liked about that opportunity and what you didn't. The important thing is to keep working until you find the right opportunity for you and keep your discernment as to what in that opportunity fit with your energy and what didn't. So paying attention to that actually gives you the confidence to move forward with that. So keep that in mind. You're at the very beginning, it seems like, with this Two of Wands. It's almost like, well, I can't even bring myself to dream it. Just dream it. Don't be afraid to dream it. I do feel you dreaming a little bit big, and that's okay. Fall into that. Let it happen. Your outcome is the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is an equal exchange of energy, or it's like a balance of energy. So making sure that, again, we talked about the give and the take. So whatever energy you're putting in, check to see the return energy. Do you feel fulfilled from this? I just heard like your signs are in what you give and what you get. Specifically what you take too. So what kinds of things are you taking? Does it actually do the intended thing that you took it for? So if you are drinking caffeine every day and you're finding that's making you jittery, or it's not lighting you up the way that you want it to, take note of that. This thing that I'm taking, is it really helping me? So it's also just like if I am, working hard at a job, for example, and I'm doing the most and 3/4 and times 10, and I'm not really getting the right financial reimbursement for that work. If I'm doing the most and I'm not feeling good, or even if I'm putting all this effort in and I'm not feeling great in return, then that would be a sign that my energy scales need to be rebalanced, because again, you want to make sure that when you're putting in, you're getting that energy back. And sometimes we have to work through that balance. Okay, so we do have law of attraction stuff happening. So again, studying law of attraction, I'm no expert on law of attraction, but studying that hardcore will help you realize the energy that you're putting out, the energy that you're getting back, how that exchange is working, and then how your energetic exchanges are working in your life and what's benefiting you and what's not. Okay, so studying that and making sure you're like understanding that, I think is a big part of your energetic journey right now for the next 2 weeks. You also have here, go the distance. So again, I do feel like this is falling in line with that Two of Wands that we just talked about. So with this card, we are talking about quite literally just that. I can go the distance, and believing that you can, because I feel like the energy that I've felt so far is you wanting to dream big and you saying, oh, that's not me though. I can't dream that big because it's not going to happen. But just putting forth that effort and trying, because again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So that first opportunity that comes along, like I said, might not work out, and that's okay, because the frustration is an indicator of what is working and what is not. So again, expecting those failures to happen, quote unquote, failures, if you want to call them that, the walls or the obstacles, expecting those things to happen so that, you can learn from them, is going to be an important part of your journey. You also have Treasure Island. So I like this card. Treasure Island is actually an amazing card because it talks about having a gift. I do feel like, first of all, this is a good indicator of wealth if you were looking to make wealth off of whatever it is that you were doing. I do see, like, your reading is covered in pentacles. So I feel like whatever this is, it could be like something spiritual that you're trying to make money off of. It could just be like something that you're studying to try to make money off of, period. It doesn't have to be like a spiritual thing that you're studying, but whatever energy that you're putting in, you want to make sure you're getting like a good financial return. There is a treasure chest waiting for you at the end of this. So I do feel like working on your energetic exchange and working on where you're putting your energy is actually going to be extremely helpful for getting financially what you're worth, or getting more. I feel like we're priceless, but I feel like you want to make sure that you're able to live financially well with what you're doing. Treasure Island talks about having that abundance already. So it's talking about the spiritual, it's talking about the financial, it's talking about the emotional, and just everything else in between. So Treasure Island is saying that you have an abundance of these things, and that there is abundance to be discovered, found, and actually for spirits, like, no, you have to build it. I'm hearing the word build. So this is something that is to be built over time, over a marathon with the go the distance. So again, putting in that work. Spirit wants to make sure that you're putting in the work for whatever it is that you want to do. So, I mean, if you give up, you're not going to see the results. So make sure that you stick with it. Because there are some blips. I see some blips, and Spirit's going to put those in your path on purpose. Like, they're going to feel like the biggest obstacles in the world, but, like, I see, like, 2 or 3 things happening. Maybe not, like, in a row, but they might be, like, a little spaced out, but, like, a few opportunities that are coming. Like, there might be 2 or 3 of them that don't work out, and those are going to be tests. But you're going to be, Spirit's like, we're going to give them bones. Like, there's going to be, like, something, like, that makes you feel like you can do it, that makes you feel like you're going to keep going, that you can keep going. And I do feel like things will get easier because those obstacles are meant to show you what is working for you and what's not working for you. And you're meant to learn from that so you know what opportunities to say no to. You also have expect miracles. So, I just heard like this is also the key to your success too. So expecting some of these opportunities to manifest in the form of miracles, and you're really feeling and celebrating the blessings that come with that. So making sure that you're celebrating when these little miracles do happen. Miracles don't have to be like the huge accomplishment that you're wanting it to be, but it could be even in the smallest things of working out. I just heard like something like lucky, like, oh, there's a penny or there's a $20 bill around the corner. Whether it's a penny, whether it's a $100 bill, whether it's a $20 bill, just appreciating the fact that you found it and accepting it as a sign that wealth is coming, that, you know, that you are on the path to it, that it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen the next day or a week from now, it might not even happen a year from now, but it will come eventually. There are miracles in the signs and synchronicities, and also there's just understanding like that being grateful and like practicing that gratitude is a good way of calling that energy. And especially, again, you guys are like heavy on law of attraction. That's coming through strong for this reading. So some of you, if you haven't been thinking about studying law of attraction, then I know I'm not talking to a brick wall. Spirit's like, get on it, because that's going to be like your key to understanding this financial exchange, or like the exchange of your energy that you're putting out into the world. So expecting miracles, and also education, guys. We're at that point in the reading where I'm pulling so many cards that Spirit's like, we said what we said and we meant it, and we're not going to repeat ourselves. So this is literally learning. This is the card of learning, education. I mean, duh. Why am I even talking? Why am I here? So, that being said, it's literally, that's all the card is just saying, like, you know, learning. So making sure that you're taking the time to sit and soak up everything. Read a book, learn from a mentor, study from someone. I just said that, you know, this is a time of expanding, soaking things up like a sponge, learning about law of attraction. Like, I really do feel like for some of you, this is opening up a book. So if you've been hesitant towards, like, you know, going out to like a thrift store and finding like, you know, used books on the subject of your choice, or if you like even your local library, if you've been seeing stuff and you're like, I don't know if I'll have the time for that, Spirit's asking you to invest time and energy into that. And I feel like if you're here, if you're listening to this reading, then you're already starting to invest, or you're already feeling like you want to invest in this. You've already been doing some of the work. And it doesn't have to be physical books, but I feel like there's a book that could be helpful for some of you. I don't know any specific books on law of attraction, but look out specifically for texts, or look up the most recommended books for law of attraction or for your subject of choice. That way, like, I feel like that kind of thing is important, is like looking up popular books that fit with that, or there's a specific book that's going to come into your path that's going to be important for your journey. So just keep an eye out for that. That's a very specific thing. That being said, I'm rolling the dice for you, and we have 823. I'm pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, and I always read these messages twice. So your current situation is moving toward a resolution. Know that angels and ascended masters are guiding you toward a higher purpose. One more time, your current situation is moving toward a resolution. Know that angels and ascended masters are guiding you toward a higher purpose. So that is actually something a Sagittarius concerns themselves with a lot in terms of philosophy. They always think of the deeper meaning behind things. So when we enter with this Sagittarius energy, it's almost like you're getting in your roots here a little bit, really connecting with the Sagittarius energy with this new moon in Pisces here, and connecting with that strong education element that our Sagittarians love so much, right? So connecting with your higher purpose and understanding where you're meant to go from there is the message of that. So that being said, thank you, Sagittarius, for sitting with me in the space. Thank you for allowing me to read your energy. If this resonates with you in any way, like and subscribe and all the things. That way, and also, Spirit's like still trying to channel something. If anything, if you have a situation or if you relate to this in any way, go ahead and describe your situation below. I think that would be really cool to connect. But definitely like, subscribe, and all the things. That way you keep up to date with me and all of the stuff that I'm putting out. I have some more collective readings coming out here soon, as well as the rest of the signs for the new and full moons that are coming up here. And yeah, exciting things to come. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.